Welcome to BalletMet's Director's Point of View. I'm your host, Brett Johnson. In each podcast episode, we get to talk with BalletMet's artistic director, Edward Liang, about the upcoming BalletMet performance. This time we talk about the Triple Bill Night and Day, a collection of short ballets. Let's get started. Night and Day Collection of Short Ballets is the next performance for BalletMet Columbus. And talking with Edward Liang today, 3 ballets. I'm going to take right from the website the description of Night and Day. A moonlit night, a flock of birds, an African sunrise. Nature will be the foundation of Night and Day. Let's talk about that foundation of nature, how it plays into the 3.
Well, I think that it's a way for BalletMet and marketing to be able to describe to, I guess, the mass market in the community what they're going to be seeing for a triple bill. Triple bills, again, I always say this all the time, is I think probably the best programs in any ballet company. You get a variety. You have 3 different voices, sometimes more, of choreographers, different perspectives. I always say this is that it's an airplane ticket around the world. And yes, I think that, Night and Day, the programming has a base of nature and the elements. We start off with Serenade, George Balanchine's first ballet in the United States. And this iconic masterpiece, not only is it to Tchaikovsky with huge sweeping music, but there's a whole historic significance to it. When George Balanchine came to the United States after leaving the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo, for a couple of years, he was traveling around trying to find his way. He did circuses, he did some shows, and he met Lincoln Kirsten, a financier based in New York City. And that is what set, I would say, that's what started American ballet and the popularity of American ballet. So when he first arrived in New York City, he started a school of American Ballet, which is still iconic and the largest ballet school in the United States, yet maybe even in the world. I think it's second to Paris Opera or the Mariinsky or the Bolshoi, but it's an institution. And Serenade is a ballet that was first choreographed for students. So in the first scene, when the curtain goes up, there's 17 women on stage, but it was because they had 17 women. And it was an exercise for dancers to be able to dance in his aesthetic vocabulary, in the way that he wanted to phrase musicality. And then later on, there was principles and leading pas de deux put into the sections. But it's one of these ballets that you never tire of watching. You can see it over and over and over again. And it's great because it's a great way to start off the evening, because you can find so much meaning into it. And he has never described what it means to him, the story of what it means to him. So many people had so many different stories, why his arm gestures in the beginning are the way they are. And that's one of the reasons why I think these triple bill ballets or these mixed program ballets are that much more impactful, is because the audience can find themselves through the music and the ballet. If you've never seen Serenade, I highly, highly recommend it. And if you have, it is something that I think that when people see it, they know that they never tire of.
Yeah. You have also with
the triple bill performance or a choreography from you
Yes.
as well. Let's talk a little bit about that piece of it.
This piece, Murmuration, it's a ballet that I choreographed in 2012 for Houston Ballet. And I was given a piece of music by Ezio Basso, his violin concerto, and it's in 3 movements. And I received it many years ago, and I fell in love with this piece of music right away. But this piece is big, it's bold, and it's sweeping, similar to Serenade, but in a whole different genre. It's more minimalist. But yet it doesn't have the same sort of it doesn't have the minimalist idea of composer that normal people ordinarily think of. It's sweeping, it's bold. And a friend of mine told me about this phenomenon that happens at dusk with starling birds, and it's called murmuration. And once I got this piece of music and this idea, this was just a natural fit for this ballet to start being created. And it was a massive hit for Houston Ballet. And I really wanted to program it when I thought the company was ready. And I feel as if the company is in the prime time to perform this ballet. And so it is something that this ballet is very special to me. There's probably a handful of ballets that are really, really close to my heart. And this is one of them. It has big group numbers. It has beautiful patatas that I think that are beautiful. But one of the other reasons why I programmed it is because Serenade is mostly women. And there's most of the dance is all the 20 women on stage. And there are 2 lead men and then 4 quarter ballet men in Serenade. But in Murmurations, there's a large and lengthy men's dance. And so it makes that sort of juxtaposition for the program. And, that goes into why I programmed Lamborena, is because Val Caniparoli, this is his masterpiece. This is his signature piece that has been around for almost 20 years. And it's been performed all over the world. I've seen it from small companies to large companies everywhere. And, I rarely say this, but this is a world-class program. And the reason why I'm able to say that is because all these ballets have gone all over the world, including Murmuration. Right after we premiere Murmuration for Columbus in the end of October, in the very beginning of November, the Vienna Opera Ballet is going to perform it in their incredible opera house. And so Manuel Legris is the artistic director. He was a former étoile for the Paris Opera. And what étoile means is the highest ranking principal. So étoile in French is star. And he, out of his generation of principals, he's probably one of the most well-known dancers. And now he's running a ballet company that is absolutely stupendous. Mm-hmm. So it's not just me being able to say a buzzword like world class, but this is absolutely one of the programs that I'm so proud of in this season. because it is truly world class.
Let's take a short intermission. We'll be right back with BalletMet Artistic Director Edward Liang right after this. A moonlit night, a flock of birds, an African sunrise. Nature will be the foundation of Night and Day, a collection of short ballets. George Balanchine's iconic and classical Serenade takes on the glow of a dance done by moonlight, while Edward Liang's Murmuration finds its roots in the breathtaking twilight flight patterns of starling birds. Lamborina, choreographed by Caniparoli, uniquely marries the high energy of West African dance with Bach on a sun-soaked stage. Tickets are now on sale for BalletMet's Night and Day, Friday, October 21st through Sunday, October 23rd. Single performance tickets are available through Ticketmaster.com, or you can make purchases in person or by calling or going directly to the Kappa ticket office, and that's at kappa.com.
And it sounds as though, and you mentioned this earlier, that you didn't lack the confidence in the company before, but now to the point you're introducing some things to the audience as well as the company that you know they can do really well and impress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think with, it's definitely not that I lacked confidence in my former company years or former dancers or the dancers that I have now. But just like how I built the company up to do Carmen Macchia last year, is that I don't believe that they would be able to do the job that they did with exceptional fragility, to pyrotechnics, to the way that they were able to master their body and mechanize all the different steps. That was a building process. I brought Gustavo's work my first year and my second year, and to get ready for the dancers to do Carmen Macchia. So same thing with Murmuration. How I program my ballets and how I program my evenings and my whole season is a very thoughtful sort of process, and not just looking at making a good program, but what is going to be impactful all around from the community, what I think that the community needs to see and that they would absolutely love and that would transform them. This program, I think, is the best of ballets. And with the company being able to do this program, Serenade is Balanchine classical ballet. Fast footwork and pure classicism. There's nothing that you can hide. There's no hiding behind this ballet. Lamborina is Bach with African music, and it's eclectic, and it's an audience favorite all around the world, and it's on Pointe still, but it blends all different types of dance. So again, the dancers are challenged to bring another vocabulary into their realm. And then you bring Murmurations, which is more contemporary, more modern, and it's in flat shoes. So the ladies have to go from Pointe to flat in one evening. And that is no easy feat.
No pun intended.
Exactly.
Well, great. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us to talk about this upcoming performance. I'm intrigued by it just because of the breadth of where it's coming, especially the West African dance with Bach. I know this has been around over 20 years, but it's still the concept of those two together is like, wow, what does that look like? What does that sound like? I think it should be just one piece of this evening. It should be great.
Yeah. And, what's nice about it is that, it does touch upon exactly what BalletMet says, is that it is very elemental. The first ballet, Serenade is, you can imagine your own storyline, but it's dancing in the moonlight. And Lamborina is just, earth and tribal and yet ethereal at the same time. And murmuration is, for me, is really about taking flight and creating patterns. Each one of these ballets have their own storyline. And what's great, again, is that the audience can find their way through it. And I think a lot of audience members, no matter where I go, they are intimidated by sometimes not understanding ballet and not understanding what they're seeing. And that is what I want to really communicate to the community and to all audience members all around the world, is that you don't need to understand ballet. Ballet is meant for you to just take in and see where it lands for you. Ballet and dance and the visual arts are not for you to totally understand. You can. There's so many different underlining currents, but there shouldn't be any sort of intimidation or feeling not connected. It's for the audience. That's why we perform. It's for the audience and for the community to touch, move, and inspire them. So I think that is one of what I've heard, one of the reasons why I think audience members that are not dance aficionados get slightly intimidated by these sort of works that don't have a direct storyline, or there's no title that they can grab onto, like Romeo and Juliet or Cinderella or Macbeth, right. Midsummer Night's Dream. Right. So, but I think once, this sounds kind of strange, but it's kind of like trying sushi. People are, when they first hear of raw fish, myself included when I was young, I'm like, raw fish.
Exactly.
But, once you try it and you get over the intimidation or the fear or the not knowing or not understanding, I can't imagine my life without sushi now.
And that's what it should be for ballet, should be for performing arts.
Absolutely.
Your life should be, I can't imagine it without it as some type of performance in my life every month, of whatever it might be. Right.
And, this may be a little soapboxy, but, there's so much going on in this world. There's so much change and not knowing or not understanding. But the one thing that I do firmly believe is that beauty can save this world. And what I mean by beauty, and it sounds really just trite but what I mean by beauty is when human beings get inspired and they come from a place of inspiration and creativity, usually what happens is positive. And having a group of individuals or a nation or a state or a community be inspired and positive, you can only bring more to the table. And in doing that, it creates more, and it moves, I think, people and humanity towards the right direction of where we're all inspiring to be, which sounds very hippy-dippy, but like love and peace and joy, and it goes back to creativity.
All right. Exactly. Well, again, thank you for a few minutes today.
Yeah.
This has been a good outline of what listeners and viewers can expect with this upcoming performance of the Triple Bill Night and Day, a collection of short ballets. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to BalletMet Columbus's Director's Point of View, brought to you by BalletMet Columbus. For more information about upcoming BalletMet Columbus's performances and how to buy tickets, check out our show podcast show notes. Like what you heard? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player and give us a rating and a comment. We love the feedback. And be sure to tell your friends about the podcast by sharing it on social media. Of course, the best way to say you like the podcast is to attend an upcoming performance of BalletMet Columbus.